It's over Harvard Yard this afternoon. Occupy protesters have taken over the area since last night. News Center 5's Todd Kaskevich is live outside the Cambridge campus, where administrators reportedly locked the gates, trying to keep the trespassers out. Right, Todd?
They did, Susan. This rally started here at Harvard Yard yesterday, and then it moved over to Harvard Law School. And it was at that point that when the rally moved, that's when Harvard University police moved in. They locked the gates here of Harvard Yard, hoping to prevent an encampment once the demonstrators came back. But the Occupy movement won that battle. As you can see, the gates are reopened at this hour, but only to people with a Harvard ID. And having to show an ID is leading to some pretty testy exchanges, as we witnessed this morning.
I'm going to go teach students, and you're going to make me show you an ID? Do I look like I'm going to go blow something up?
Today, even Harvard professors are being carded as the university attempts to restrict access to Harvard Yard to just faculty, students, and staff in the hopes of containing the Occupy movement, which established a camp in the yard last night. Several dozen students slept in these tents rather than their dorms.
It was obviously very cold. It was raining in the middle of the night, but I think people are also incredibly energized.
They argue that many in the Harvard community, though in the top 1% academically, are not in the top 1% economically.
You know, we've been heading over to Occupy Boston, but we thought that kind of bringing the occupation to Harvard Yard would send a pretty powerful statement to Harvard and the country that Harvard students care about the corporatization of Harvard education.
Occupying Harvard began with a rally last night attended by several hundred people, including Dr. Timothy McCarthy, a lecturer at the Kennedy School of Government.
I'm involved in this not only as someone who understands social movements from an intellectual standpoint, but also someone who is a citizen who's very much suffering with this.
Suffering with some of the many issues that the rest of the 99% are suffering with.
Employees!
Employees!
The very people!
The very people!
Who were responsible!
Who are responsible!
Global economic meltdown!
For the global economic meltdown!
Harvard has faculty!
Harvard has faculty!
That have made war more efficient!
That have made war more efficient!
Harvard has economists!
Harvard has economists!
That teach us!
That teach us!
Profits!
That profits!
Are more important than people!
Are more important than people!
And we are here today!
And we are here today!
To say that peace is more important than war!
To say that peace is more important than war!
To say that people are more important than profits!
To say that people are more important than profits!
And again, the gates here at Harvard Yard are back open at this hour, but only for people with a Harvard ID. That's creating some bit of a logistical problem for people in this community who usually pass through Harvard Yard either for business or as a shortcut. No comment yet from Harvard University on the Occupy Harvard movement or how long they're going to allow the movement to stay at Harvard Yard. Reporting live in Cambridge, Todd Kaskevich, News Center 5. Susan?
All right, Todd, thank you.
On Wednesday night, members of Occupy Boston joined with Harvard students as they attempted to occupy Harvard Yard. After an evening General Assembly, hundreds of protesters marched through historic Harvard Square as police closed off the yard. Protesters deliberated what to do using the people's mic and horizontal consensus process that have become staples of the Occupy movement.
What I proposed earlier. That we return. To Mass Ave. The only way. That we're going to get. Into Harvard Yard. Is by returning. To the streets.
Harvard for the United States! Harvard!
Despite hundreds of students in the streets, there was disagreement within the student body about support for the Occupy movement and its relation to Harvard.
We've all recognized that Harvard played a role in the financial collapse, mainly because our endowment was not being used in socially responsible ways.
I want to sleep!
I just want to go back to my room, and the gate's closed, so I can't walk through.
I'm poor as hell. My mom's on welfare. I don't have a father. But I'm here for a reason, because of my brain. I'm not here because I inherited wealth. Harvard's not here because I inherited wealth. I have compassion for you. I have empathy for your cause, but Harvard's not your problem.